Hello everybody, my name is Miriam Löffler and I'm working for SCHUMANN. I'm sitting here together with Katie Benamar from Nexus. Katie, everyone who has been involved into a software project knows how challenging it is. What were the most challenging tasks for you during your software project?
For the most recent project that we've worked on, the most challenging parts of our project sat around really tying up all of the various loose ends and making sure that the scope that we detailed in the beginning was what we needed in the end. You always think you have everything covered and inevitably there's something that has been missed along the way, not for the lack of everyone's effort, but definitely it's ensuring that the scope is well-rounded and you've got all the different caveats covered. Also, when you're dealing with integrating new functionality into an existing system, making sure that you are aware of all of the potential knock-on effects of new functionality that you put in. So something that you put in today may have an effect on something that you put in 2 years ago. And so you need to be aware of that and be able to cover and make sure that you've accommodated that in your new programming. I always find that's always quite challenging as well.
How did you organize the requirement analysis at the beginning of the project?
We had an existing system that we have built using the base product from SCHUMANN, base CAM product from SCHUMANN, and then we've added bespoke functionality to it for a particular type of business. So initially what we needed to do was move another type of similar business into that system. So they had another system that they were using that was quite outdated. So what we needed to do was review both systems and decipher, what needed to be changed. How could we use the existing CAM system that we'd built to accommodate this new business? So we did a gap analysis, going through kind of each layer of the system functionality from the old system, the other system, and comparing it to CAM. Seeing where we might have things that would improve that functionality already existing in CAM, and areas that we needed to completely alter things to accommodate this other type of business. It took a lot of time, and SCHUMANN also did analysis between the old system and our existing build of CAM.
How do you collaborate with the other departments and how you catch them up?
When we're working with CAM, we have, it was just one part of the trade credit insurance process. So we have our policy system, we have management information that needs to come out. So generally, the way we've approached it is to just have kind of key people that we would speak to in those different, that are kind of masters of those areas. So the policy management system has a team that works on it from an IT basis. So we've made sure that we've had someone representing that element when we've had specific conversations about how we're going to, say, transfer data from the policy management system into CAM, or when we're talking about output, sending out management information, we make sure that the people that are creating that management information are informed and might attend, particular meetings. We have kind of a broader base overview team where we have the IT team that would look after the policy management system and the management information systems that we have in place, and make sure that the dots are all connected in there.
Okay.
So staying in touch with each other.
And how do you organize your project management in general? Do you work in the agile way?
Yeah, so we work in an agile way as much as possible, just because that seems to make the most sense, and you don't get as many surprises at the end of it, where you've made a plan and then however so long later you have something slightly different that you need. Where we have sometimes run into a need to be flexible and have a kind of a combined approach between waterfall and agile processes is where we've sort of overlapped with having to work with another software vendor, for example, where they work under a more waterfall, traditional waterfall sort of method. And so then you just kind of get on with it. You work accordingly to how this other software vendor might need to be accommodated, and then with keeping that agile framework in your mind while you are working through your project from your end, so that the things that are within your control, you're touching base with them again to make sure that you're being flexible and kind of making sure that all of the requirements are being updated as much as possible.
And what happens if you realize that your assumptions from the project beginning are not the right assumptions, were not the right assumptions? How do you handle the change requests?
I go out and take some air, have a coffee. You have to be pragmatic about it. If you've spent time and money developing something that doesn't work, you have to salvage what you can and regroup. And try and move forward from there. In my experience, we have typically had a good team to support from the software vendor side, and so then we come to a solution. Essentially, is the way it goes. It's always a bit painful. It's no one's favorite thing, but you regroup and you move forward with it, and just kind of take it as a learning experience and try and do better next time. One of the things that I have seen develop over time, working such a long time with SCHUMANN, is that kind of modifications and adjustments within the Agile framework. I've seen that develop a lot. I'm not sure 10 years ago if there was much of that framework in mind. I'm not really sure. It didn't have an official name 10 years ago, but what we've tried to do over time is really build in some safety nets when it comes to estimating effort and trying to make sure that we are really scoping the project as much as possible before we start, as much as possible. You always have to be a bit pragmatic about it, though. So I think it has to be an agile approach, because otherwise you get so many surprises. I wish the financing side of the projects was more agile, as well as the actual development work part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we still have some way to go there.
Very interesting. Yeah. Katie, thank you for your time. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.